feels nice, but let's get back to real life.
Sis, your past is not a prison. It's a classroom, and the lesson is already over. Stop punishing yourself for what you've already lived through. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday, and I'm dropping in as I do most weekends to hopefully encourage you. I hope your day is going well. Had a wonderful weekend so far. Yesterday I celebrated one of my little princesses, as I call them, my middle granddaughter, 8th birthday. So we had a wonderful time. We went to a jump park called Urban Air, and it was a lot of fun. So it's been a great weekend so far. But I wanted to drop in today and hopefully say a few words that will, empower you through this week or help you. I do know that there are a lot of us who live with regret and past shame, and it is preventing us from being able to live the life that is designed for us. And I want to hopefully say a few things that will get you to think about it. It may not cut it out all together today, but hopefully it will get you to think about, your past and the shame that you carry and the regret that you still carry, even when other people try to remind you of those things. You've already learned that lesson. Sis, it is time to let it go and to live the life that is designed for you. So for this one, I took some notes because I want to stay on track with my thoughts and not get sidetracked, because y'all know I can do that, right? So I'm going to give you 4 points. Hopefully this video won't be very long, because y'all don't be watching my long videos. My algorithms tell me when you watch it all. Okay? So I'm going to give you all 4 points so I can stay on track. But to do the housekeeping first, let me welcome you if this is your first time dropping in. This is a lifestyle channel, so you're going to get a little bit of everything here. You're going to get encouragement for women to keep living, because my channel name is Living Life by Design. We are designing our life. We have that opportunity to design our lives, even though sometimes our life will get off track. So you'll get that. So I'll encourage women to keep living. And usually I'm encouraging women at a particular age, over 50, over 60 and beyond. But this could be encouragement for anyone younger, because at some point in life, you're going to get here if you keep living. So we do that. I also share my thoughts on traveling, being single, relationships, friendships. And I have converted my life over to a minimalist lifestyle. So I also share how that has been challenging for me, how I'm doing that, developing that every day, letting go of things that are not important, and just keeping things that resonate with me, things that are useful for me and practical for me in my everyday life, because I have a desire to do other things, and consuming a lot of things oftentimes can get in the way of that. So I share that as well. So if this sounds like something that would be interesting to you, go ahead and subscribe by hitting that subscribe button now. Thumbs up this video also, so that others will get it. Algorithms will put it out there so other people can see it. Turn on the notifications. That's very important, because a lot of people that I follow, I don't get the notifications, and I go check, and sometimes I have not put it on all. So make sure you do that. It doesn't work all the time, let me just say that, but it's very helpful if you will do it, so that you will get notifications when I upload a video or when I go live. Currently I am going live once a month. The next date is August the 29th, which is a Friday, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The topic there is going to be smiling through the storms, because a lot of us, we do go through storms of life, different things. And I'm going to talk about what it means to smile through the storms. Now, it's not literally maybe smiling through that storm, but how you keep your joy, how you keep going, and allowing life to keep, allowing yourself to keep living through life, even while going through storms. So make sure you tune in for that and be a part of that live. That will be something I think that will be enlightening, will be encouraging. You're going to get a little bit of everything from that. So hope to see you there. So I'm going to give you 4 points, as I stated, and I have taken some notes because I want to stay on topic with what I want to talk about. And the first one is going to be acknowledge without judgment. That's number one. Number two, we're going to talk about separating who you are from what you did. Number three, rewriting your story with compassion. And number four, choosing freedom over punishment. I think it's so important. So stay tuned. The first point I want to talk about is acknowledgement. You have to acknowledge what you've done, whether it was by mistake or whether it was intentional. We all know that we go through things in life, and sometimes your life, your past, your environment, things that you were subjected to, hurt and pain can cause you to do things. And sometimes it's by choice. Sometimes we are victims also to things that happen to us, no fault of our own, but we end up in situations that change our lives forever. And we make bad mistakes. We make mistakes that we wish that we could erase. Whether it had to do with things that you chose growing up, being a parent, being a wife. Sometimes we blame ourselves for, the loss of a spouse if, we decide to get divorced, and we carry that shame and regret of that. And sometimes you could have done everything that you know to do to try to salvage that relationship, but it still ends in divorce. Sometimes we go through situations where we are estranged from family members, siblings, parents, even your children, and we carry that regret with us forever. Sometimes we made bad life choices that causes us to either get in debt or lose people in our life. The choices of jobs and friendships that bring you tremendous pain. And we carry that regret for the rest of our lives. But why do we do that? First of all, you should just acknowledge that all of this happened. And as you grow, I think we learn and mature. Most of us do. And we can look back over our lives and say, that was a bad choice. That was something I shouldn't have done. But to repeatedly beat yourself up over that, to punish yourself over that because of that decision you made or something somebody brought to you that you had no intentions of being a part of, but somehow you get wrapped up in it. You have to acknowledge that this thing happened. I think for me, oftentimes a lot of things that I end up in is because of me wanting to help, not realizing that, girl, this could get you in a lot of mess. And at the end of the day, somehow it lands in my lap, and me being the person responsible for not choosing this side or that side and having my own thoughts about it. And oftentimes it comes with maybe people leaving my life or people doing negative and ugly things toward me. But I don't live there anymore. I acknowledge that maybe that was something I shouldn't have been a part of. And maybe that was a decision I shouldn't have made. But I refuse to take that with me forever. Number two, you got to separate yourself from what you did. You are not your mistakes. You've grown from the things that you did. We all, at some point in life, have been a youth. And we've made terrible decisions. I will say, when I got pregnant with my son before I was married, that wasn't a choice I wanted to have. I didn't have no money, girl. I was working. I had a job at Burger King, right? So being a mom was not something that I wanted to choose at that moment. But that was something I did because of the careless, mistakes that I made, being intimate without fully protecting myself. Because, I'm going to be honest with you, with that, it's the responsibility of both. It's not just one person. The man bears a responsibility as well as the woman. And let me say this, even sometimes when you do, make some decisions and being responsible for it, mistakes can still happen. So let's just say that, because I know a lot of people are chiming in and say, well, I did all of those things and this still happened. Well, in my case, I wasn't doing all of the things. So the consequences of my actions was a young baby boy. So at 22 years old, I became a mother, and I had to accept that responsibility and do the things that's necessary. But what I won't do is repeatedly blame myself for that choice. I learned lessons from that. I grew so that in the future, I wouldn't make that same mistake. So for me to continually look back and say, punish myself for that mistake is really silly to me. You have to grow. That's just a scenario that I'm using. It could be anything else. But even if it was something that you did intentionally, and if you're in a better space now, life has taught you some things, you're living life, making good choices, being a good person, your heart is pure, why are you still repeatedly blaming yourself for things you did in your past? It's time to move on. Having my coffee today. Hope you all are enjoying this beautiful Sunday. Let me send out some prayers to those who are on the East Coast. I'm hearing that there is a storm approaching. Hopefully it will not make landfall. I got a lot of friends. My bestie live over on the East Coast, more toward the coast. And she's over in North Carolina. So sending out prayers of you all that's over there. Hopefully you guys are taking precautions and being safe. Thought I'd just interject that right now because I need to take a sip of my coffee. Point number 3, rewrite your story with compassion. Instead of saying, I made this mistake, you can shift the narrative and say, I learned, I've evolved. You have to speak compassion and lovingly toward yourself. If you're always saying negative things, like one of the things I used to do, I used to be, I'm so stupid when I would make a mistake or something. And not literally thinking I'm stupid, but saying that to myself is a negative thought. Why would I call myself stupid? Right? So I think you have to be mindful of what you say, the things that you speak out of your mouth, because those words have power. And if you're constantly speaking negative things over yourself, at some point you will tend to believe that. So you have to rewrite the narrative and say, you know what? That was a lesson that I needed to learn. I have evolved from that. I am a different woman. I love, I'm compassionate, I'm caring, and I am willing to share what I've learned from the mistakes I've made with others. That's one of the best things you can do, is when you have made mistakes, made bad choices in life, when you share the lessons of what you learn with others, that's healing toward your spirit. Number 4, choosing freedom over punishment. Choose to be free. It is so much life left to live out here. Why wouldn't you want to be free from that? Choosing freedom releases you from that past. You're locked into the past if you're continually thinking about punishing yourself for something you did 10, 15, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, even 1 year ago. Are you still punishing yourself for mistakes? If you've learned the lesson, if you're not actively still doing these things and you've learned lessons, why are you still punishing yourself for something that you did a long time ago, or something that you needed to learn from? You learned the lesson. You've moved on. I do know that people in your life will try to hold you to that. They'll try to say things to you negatively. Point in case, I have someone in my life that has never been married and wants to get married. And when they're in their little pity parties often, and I have tried to say, when it's time, when the timing is right, make sure you, first of all, let me just change this. Make sure that you're in a position where you are ready for a relationship. That's a whole nother video, okay? So a lot of people are not ready for marriage. A lot of people are not ready for what, is entailed in having a relationship with the opposite sex, having a marriage. You have to be prepared for that, mind, body, and spirit. So that's first and foremost. But we're going to just assume that you already know this. You have to be prepared for that. And when I have said that, knowing that I've gone through the experience. I've experienced this. So I know what it takes because I've had pettiness in my marriage. Child, when you're young, you say and do crazy stuff. I've done that. So when I'm remembering and I'm sharing that, rather than someone getting offended by it, receive it. It's like, that's a good point. Let me check myself and make sure I'm in a position. Rather than getting defensive and say, well, you are divorced. You've been divorced, and people will try to remind you of that you've been divorced, that you had to raise children alone. This is just my stuff. Whatever it may be, let it apply to whatever's in your life. Or you lost your home. Maybe whatever, your finances took a crash. You lost your home, and people will remind you of that. They'll remind you of everything that you've done bad. They don't remember the good things you've done or tell you that. Now, this is not everybody. This is just some people. But this is why a lot of us stay locked into the past, because we constantly get reminded. Let me say this. These are not your people. You got to learn who your people are, because the people that are for you are going to build you up. They're going to encourage you. And they're going to let you know you are not your past mistakes. Stop shaming yourself. Stop living in the past. Today is a new day to rewrite your story. You can move forward from today, doing all new things. You can totally rewrite your future. Yes, God grants us the time and space, and we don't know when that time is coming. But I say you don't sit around and wait. You start living today, doing those things that you need to do. Whatever you need to do, research. Surround yourself with people who are doing the things that you want to do. That's so important. We have to step out of that box of fear. Start putting yourself in spaces with people. Read some books. Take the negativity out of your life. Anybody that's bringing negativity to you, they need to step to the back. And sometimes that may be family, friends. It is what it is. But you cannot live in the past forever. Who wants to do that and take themselves to wherever your destiny is, regretting? And I will always say this. You can ask older people, and they'll tell you their regrets before they tell you the things that they are happy about, the things that were positive. So try to remember that. Do you want to go back when your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, family, as you get older and they come to you, maybe you're 80, 85, and they ask you about life, and you say, I regret this, and I regret that, and I regret this. I don't want to be that person that's just full of regrets, and that's all I have to share. I want to breathe life into people. My grandchildren. Yesterday, I was just having a wonderful time with my 8-year-old and my 4-year-old granddaughters. And I want to share things with them that's going to encourage them that, hey, my grandmother, she was living life. She had a full life. That's important to me. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, because being over 60 and knowing that life is not over till the Almighty Creator says it is, I'm going to keep doing those things that bring me joy, that I can share with others so that they may decide to have joy as well. So thank you all for watching today. Hopefully whatever you do today will be fun and just bring joy to your face, happiness into your life. So thank you all for watching. So I will see you guys later. It's time for a new week, starting a new week, going into those things that a lot of us, sometimes are slow moving on. I know I am, but I'm going to speak life into my week, and hopefully that my week will go smoothly, because that's what I'm speaking to myself. So thank you all for watching today. Like I said, make sure you thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to all of my members, exclusive members, my friends who joined me on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.